Hey man, say man, it is that time once again for me to talk to y'all about Full Night to the Apocalypse. Today is chapter 215 titled Parental Affection Awkwardly Provided. You know, just a reworded hash of what I said it was going to be. I can't remember what I said. But yeah, we see for the cover image that Meliodas and Tristan are still going at it in this little training skate that Fetus made for them. And look at that, man. Look at all those effects going around. I know Tristan is getting the work put on him right now. And to my guesstimation, I was correct, because we look over, Meliodas and Tristan are clashing sword for sword over and over again, and it seemed my guess was incorrect. Tristan wasn't going to make a sword of light. That would have been really sick, but you know, it's fine. They're just moving with basic training swords. I'm not sure whether that's Tristan either hitting a James Harden step back or Meliodas just completely launching him. But regardless, Tristan uses it as a moment to try and recover himself a bit and launches a projectile of dark magic called Dark Hail. And who's gonna tell him? Using a magical attack against the nigga that magical attacks do not work on. He has a sword in hand and everything. Meliodas activates that full counter and it all comes back at Tristan. And look at Tristan's face once again. He was not ready for all of this. The fact that he got launched so far back, keep in mind, full counter doubles. Doesn't double, but it's more than double of the attack's natural power. So you know, Tristan, you gotta give yourself some props. This could have done something. As we see that he goes tumbling through the wall and down, Meliodas nonchalantly walking through to see, and Tristan actually he protected himself, with Meliodas asking if he wants to take a break. Tristan saying that it's not the time yet, but Meliodas points out to him that he's out of breath and that he shouldn't really rush. So Tristan's just like, you know,
hey, fuck it.
Takes back the demon mark and just takes a moment to catch his breath. I can't lie, looking at that panel, I thought Tristan was gonna go crazy again and just start going after Melly, but it seems obviously 2 years time skip has done things for him, because he can just, you know, get back to being himself with no problems after using demon mode. We love to see progress. And he asks Meliodas how he himself isn't even panting the slightest bit, with Meliodas stating that since he's getting old, he can't really be moving around that much, which, you know, shocks Tristan at hearing this, as he states that at this rate he can't even stand shoulder to shoulder with Lancelot, with Meliodas telling him, calm down brother, calm down, don't panic, and assures him that he is even on the right track. So even though most of that fight was off screen, it seems that it wasn't for naught after all, with Tristan telling him not to pity him as he knows Meliodas didn't use his demon force at all. Meliodas telling Tristan, are you sure about that? And says that he did, with Tristan wondering what if he's just jesting, and Meliodas explains that he can get a lot of from the demon transformation itself, and that not only does it boost the senses, but everything, just all stats get boosted up exponentially. But Meliodas notes the weaknesses of it, and that despite that, it consumes a lot of magic force and it takes a toll on the spirit as well. So Meliodas explains that he uses it and crouches down, and states that he uses the demon force at the instant where and when he strikes. And we see he does a quick punch into the ground, his fist, and states that he does it on the fist at the impact itself, and that when he's, you know, either edging back or closing in on a opponent, he does it on his feet, pointing to his feet, pointing to his weak ass kicks, and darts about, shocking Tristan. And obviously now this new revelation, as Meliodas pops up behind him, is like, yeah, it's just sort of that kind of thing, with Tristan even praising it and Meliodas knowing how rare that praise is. But he's saying calm and collected, oh, that's rare praise from you, but you know he is jigging in his mind at the fact that Tristan has finally, you know, is praising him. You know, you get it. It's sweet. This is genuine sweet father-son bonding right here. And Meliodas explains that the full transformation is a lot more efficient in melees, or if someone is far outgunned or outnumbered. He would surely know, wouldn't he, about being outgunned and outnumbered on multiple occasions. He obviously know a thing or two about what he's talking about, because he has over, not just 3,000, over 3,000 years of experience. So obviously his advice on using the demon power is more than is telling, and obviously he tells Tristan just adjust when you need to, sort of thing, when it comes to using demon power, which, you know, it's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that. It's good instruction, with Tristan sort of just confuzzled at how Meliodas just shrugs it off as a sort of thing, as Meliodas laughs. But like, Meliodas locks in again, reminding Tristan that he shouldn't let the demon blood flowing through him take control, and that he needs to make use of it so that he can utilize its full potential. And we obviously see this. I don't know why we're suddenly seeing the Demon King. Nakaba could have used any other images. He trying to tell us something. Anyways, Tristan obviously hearing this is you know how this guy is, doubting himself all the time. Before Tristan admits that Meliodas honestly truly amazes him, and that he doesn't know how he could ever be like Meliodas. And Meliodas just hits him with that one smack on the back in the spot you can never get. Y'all know the one. Meliodas reminds Tristan that he doesn't need to be him, and that he has to just be himself, and that way he'll get more powerful. And Tristan tells him not to just comfort him, with Meliodas promising him that he's not trying to, and that he only got as strong as he is thanks to Elizabeth being there for him as well. And we get that little flashback of when they went flying together to go save Zeldris from the Demon King, and states to Tristan that since he has a woman that he cherishes, he'll be more than alright, with Tristan thanking him for that. Meliodas just, look at this, man. Look at this Tristan Meliodas moment. I seen niggas complain, oh wow, they finally got a moment together. Y'all niggas forget that the story's protagonist is Percival. The Four Knights are the protagonist group, but like how Meliodas is the protagonist of Seven Sins, Percival is the protagonist of Four Knights. So the fact that we didn't see many Tristan father-son moments is obviously because of that, but now we are getting them. Nakaba is paying us back in spades with this. And moving on to the next page, we go to the last night. I'm not talking about that bum-ass Transformers movie. I'm talking about Gawain, the Knight of Famine, as she is out in the courtyard saying a spell, and we see above a cloud forming, and the spell launches called Blitz Javelin, hitting a metal sword which is in the ground, and seemingly just, you know, making it slightly smolder from the sound effects, with Gawain stating that it was a failure, it didn't work, wrap it up because we have lost the game. With Balin asking what didn't work, with Gawain crashing out stating that it was a complete failure, and Balin states that as someone with no magical skill at all, it seemed like quite a feat, with Gawain stating that his praise won't do anything and begins coughing. And Balin, bro, is a giant ass caretaker, man, talking about some calm down, take some medicine, and hands it to her. She sips it, and she then explains to both Balin and us, this is obviously Balin being there is obviously perfect reason enough to give us exposition on preciseness of magic, and that in a spell every word holds magic force, and that it's only complete and activated once every syllable is said in the right order, and that attempting to shorten it puts a whole new level of magic force on each word when shortening it. And she then says that she'll show him how difficult of a skill this is, as she states the whole chant now for Blitz Javelin, and obviously there's a lot more damage, and we see that the sword is absolutely cooked, with Balin and us understanding the significance of obviously saying the whole spell. It's like Jujutsu Kaisen with its chants and binding vows, and that her main goal here essentially is to be able to shorten the word, to abbreviate the entire chant, so that she can get as much magic force from as little worlds as possible, so that she can match Waraldane and maybe even surpass her, and that even without putting Waraldane into her main aspect, she has to just be able to shorten her chance in general for future fights as well. Where then we see the grandma, air quotes, Merlin, pulling up, stating that obviously you have a lot to learn, much more to learn, and she just doesn't chant, says the name of the spell, Blitz Javelin, and completely eviscerate. Like, look at it, bro, look at the sword, it's completely melted just from the crazy force. But I feel like this is kind of cheating, because we know Merlin with infinity, she can just apply an infinite amount of magic pout force into a spell. So is this her base, or I don't know, we'll see. And she explains that Gawain needs a deeper and more thorough knowledge to shorten spells while retaining their powers, with Gawain shocked that she didn't even chant any words. With Balin getting ready to attack, stating wondering who that monster is, with Gawain telling Balin that they're her grandparents, with Merlin interrupting, saying that that they are her actual parents, which she obviously like, what? With Balin looking at her like, so what, your grandparents are your parents, bro? With Gawain wondering if this is just a riddle and that the only parent she has is Kay. With Grandpa or Escanor apologizes and stating that it's not a riddle or joke but the underlying truth, with Gawain not saying anything like that. Escanor immediately going like, we had good reason to leave you in the care of Kay, and that they had no choice since they thought it would be the best for her. And like, I know hearing this out of nowhere might concern you, but Kay said it was about time to tell you the truth, with Gawain simply saying she doesn't want to hear any of this. With Merlin immediately going, no, alright then, and is about to walk away, with Escanor trying to stop her like, wait. And then we hear another voice saying, apologizing for butting in, and it's Dubs saying that he heard the two of them were here, and showing that he's holding Gopher's head, which confuses Balin, with him also asking what's with the crowd now. Gopher stating that they need to talk and that he'd heard the whole story from Dubs, and firstly greets Merlin and Escanor. Hearing this like confirms to Gawain that obviously like Balin thinks that they're members of the 7 deadly sins. But Gopher apologizes since he's not really there to reminisce, and bluntly asks if there's a way to fight back against chaos and how to obtain it to Merlin, with her confirming that there is a way, which obviously Gopher is relieved to hear at. Meanwhile, Gawain is just pouting there like, bro, let me talk to these guys. They just revealed to me a bombshell and they're not elaborating further. And that's where the chapter ends. This was a nice follow-up to the Tristan part of this little training arc, and obviously it's interesting seeing how technicality of how Meliodas manages his demon powers when he's not in the full demon state. So hopefully we'll see how Tristan will find a way to utilize this in the coming arc. And obviously we know his main goal is to reach Lancelot's level. Well, we'll see what's going on. Obviously, looking back here at this panel here, we can see that the Meliodas' silhouette has turned to more of the one he had when he was in his Demon King state, or true magical form. And now we're going over to Gawain's part where she's trying to figure out how to shorten her cast time on spells and up the power of it in general. And obviously now we're gonna get the backstory in regards to why Merlin and Escanor are in this state, how come Arthur is the way he is, thus what method there is to beat chaos, and eventually how Gawain was conceived. And obviously we'll have a little bit of more training moments for Gawain in terms of her being able to shorten her magic, because in terms of her innate magic Dawn, outside of not having a shifting property like how the rest of the gang do, she's still rather good with her innate power. So it's just the extra magical stuff that she's working on now. So but maybe she could apply whatever Merlin's about to teach her into when she uses Dawn, and obviously maybe Escanor could give her a pointer or two on how he learned to utilize Sunshine and how she may be able to apply it in with Dawn. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on this. We're pretty much getting up to the end of this little training arc slash reprieve arc, and we'll probably move on to the next thing, which may involve the Darkmonts, the people of Darkmont who got robbed from Britannia, or maybe just something else entirely, because we know Lancelot is supposed to meet Guinevere at some point soon. And yeah, that's all I have to say on this. Take care, till next time.